What's up, guys? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome to another story time. Today I'm sharing the story of the time that the cops caught two of my homies and I hotboxing in the whip. I don't have anything else to say, so let's get right to it. This story takes place back in late 2018 or early 2019. I'd recently just turned 18 and moved out of my mom's house. And I got a crappy cheap apartment in my home city with my friend with the same name as me. His name was also Dylan, but since his name was Dylan and so was mine, all my friends would call him Dusty. Now, Dusty was a super chill homie. He smoked a lot of weed with me, but at this point I don't think he had gotten into taking shrooms or acid or anything yet. But I would trip and he would kick it with me, and he would smoke and I would smoke, and he would drive me out to make plays, and I'd be selling weed or acid, whatever I was serving someone at the time. He'd basically just be like chauffeuring me around. So shout out to Dusty. He was a G, still is a G. But at this time that the story took place, I had recently just got my own car. I had a royal blue Mitsubishi Galant with an off-white interior. I think it was a 2009. That car was dope as shit. But one of my favorite activities when I was a kid was going to what we called in New York a fishing access, which are basically just trails that lead off into nature away from society that are meant to be for fishing. But for me and my homies, they were meant for getting high and exploring. We would go down by the water, we'd take acid, we'd trip there all day, we'd smoke for hours, we'd search for caves, we'd climb around. We loved it because nobody would ever really bother us there. The most we would see is just some guys drinking beers and fishing, but most of the spots we went to were so low-key and secluded, we would hardly even see anyone fishing. So it always felt like a super safe space to do whatever the fuck we wanted. There was a few of these fishing accesses all around where I grew up, but this one in particular was probably the best one by far. It was huge, had bridges over gorges and cliffs and caves, and this was the same place I took my first ever psychedelic, which was shrooms. And I have tons of other stories and experiences here, so it's a significant place to me. I'm sure you guys will hear about it again. But this time we were just chilling in the parking lot, and the way that it was set up was there was a pretty busy main road, and on the side of the main road that the fishing access was on, it was just filled with trees. So it's just trees, and then all of a sudden there's a little opening between the trees, and it takes you down to a little parking lot where there's just tons of different trails that go off into the wilderness. Dusty and I hit up our other friend Trent originally, and he lives down the street from the fishing access, and we're like, yo, let's link up, let's chill, let's kick it, let's smoke. Since we were so young, we loved to drive. Dusty and I both decided to drive our own separate cars down there for some reason, even though we lived together. So I went and I picked up Trent, and we all met in the parking lot. Dusty hopped in the back of my car, and we started just passing around joint after joint, rotation after rotation. And I was always pretty smart with it, as I could be back then, because weed was still illegal in New York, and I would never ride out with more than I needed. I would never take more than I was gonna sell or I was gonna smoke with me. So I had probably like less than a quarter on me. And I remember I was going to roll a joint, and all of a sudden I just spilled all of my weed on the floor in the crack between the seat and the center console. So the only way to get it out would have been to take the whole entire seat out, and there was no way that was about to happen. So I was like, fuck, dude, I just lost all my weed. And this is relevant, so remember that detail. And my fucking Mitsubishi Galant was so cursed because you couldn't turn off the daylight running lamp. So we were posted up in the dark, and I could not turn the lights off without losing the air and the music, because even on accessory mode, the lights would still stay on. And it just so happened that on this busy main road, literally called Main Street, a state trooper passed by. And I guess he saw our lights through all the trees, and he hits the lights, he turns on the siren, he spins back around, he pulls up in the parking lot right behind me. And okay guys, I've dealt with the cops lots of times, and honestly under pressure, I'm one of the best people to get out of some sticky situations with the Hudas. So I tell my homies, just be cool, let me talk, it's gonna be all good, don't worry. And as he's walking up, I roll down all the windows, I turn on all the lights in the car, and I put my hands up on the steering wheel. This is just a pro tip, y'all. This will make the cops feel more comfortable and trusting of you, and you won't get their 10 billion lumen flashlight shining in your eyes, melting them into your skull. So the cop, he walks up and he's like, what's going on here tonight, boys? And the smoke is just pouring out of the windows like a fucking Cheech and Chong movie. And I'm like, yeah, you caught us, we were smoking. And he's like, well, that's pretty obvious. And he asked all of us our names. Dusty, he's always been a really nice guy, so he respectfully provides it, and so do I, of course. But Trent's being a dumbass, acting all tough, like he don't want to cooperate. If you've ever been in a situation with someone like that in the police, you know they just make everything way worse for everyone involved and piss the cops off. So I'm like, bro, what's your problem? Why are you acting like that? And he's got his arms all crossed, just being an asshole. And I'm like, fuck, dude, he's gonna get us all fucked right now. And then the cop takes my ID. He takes Dusty's because we're both driving. I don't think Trent even had his ID on him, or maybe he didn't. He was lying. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, another trooper pulls up. It's a girl, and that's just the worst feeling, having that second cop pull for backup. But she didn't do or say much. She was just watching us, providing moral support for the other officer, I suppose, and watching us while he checks our info, making sure we don't hide or try to get rid of something. Then he comes back up and he's like, okay, now cough up all the weed, all the paraphernalia that you guys have. So remember I said I already spilled all my weed, so I'm like, bet, I already lost it all. So here, I give him the small little amount of weed I'd crushed up. I was about to roll that I had left. It was like probably a 0.3. Trent didn't have anything, I don't think. Bro's just mooching. And Dusty gave him some joints that he had rolled up. And we thought we were Gucci. Like, yeah, we don't have much. Shouldn't be no big deal. But then the trooper goes to Dusty and he's like, hey, is that your backpack right there in the back seat? And Dusty nods and the cop takes it. He opens it up and pulls out this big jar with a whole ounce in it. And I'm like, damn, what the fuck? Dusty had a whole ounce? And the cop is like, ooh, what do we have here? What do we have here? I'll be right back. And he walks away. I'm like, bro, why would you bring that much? You're crazy. And he's like, I didn't think this would ever happen, man. So the cop comes back after what felt like an eternity of waiting in suspense. And he goes, I'm going to dispose of all of your cannabis right over here. Now I want you guys to call a taxi, and I want you to leave your cars here because there's no way you can drive right now. You're high. I need you to get the fuck out of here. And I'm going to be sitting down the street. And if I see any of your cars drive by, I'm going to arrest you. And she, the other cop, is going to be sitting on the other side. If she sees any of your cars drive by, she's going to arrest you too. So I'm like, damn, dude. Called the taxi, just waiting for ever. All of our britches are soiled. Took like 20 minutes and the taxi finally came. We made our way back to her crappy apartment. Had no weed, didn't have our cars, but we also didn't have any tickets. We didn't have any charges. We didn't get arrested. So all in all, is honestly probably the best outcome that could have happened. And the next day I had to walk like 6 miles to get back to my car because there's no way I'm paying for a taxi, dude. Not again. I already paid for one. But hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, leave a like, comment below if you've ever been caught or what you'd like to see next. Peace, yo.